What time is it? 101? Oh my God, I have a show to do. It's RoRo After Midnight. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still eating. I'm hungry. I'm still eating. It's late. Okay. I'm eating. It's late. I'm gonna have like acid reflux. I don't care. Okay. That's why we have pills for that. So I'm eating this Filipino food called PokemonGo, which is like a mung bean paste inside like a pastry. So it's good. And I have my Michael Bublé drink. So welcome to another episode of Ram. Am I looking the wrong way? No, that way. Ram, and there am I. It's been a day, okay? It's been a day. Thank you for joining us, like I said, in another episode of RoRo After Midnight. As you can see below, very little letters and little writing. So maximize your screen, okay? Like Optimus Maximize. Oh, that's Prime. Oh, I'm botching my jokes today. This is bad. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Venmo me at RoRo the Tenor. Okay? Not Venhomo me, just Venmo, okay? Nightly live stream via Facebook. There's the address down there, Facebook and YouTube. So, we're going to go now to our joke of the day. What is the joke of the day? This is a classic, everyone. Pay attention. The joke of the day is, why is 6 afraid of 7? Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 is a registered sex offender. What? Hey, that was another moment. Thank you. But wait, there's more. This is really good. Oh, wait. Go back. Pickup line of the day. Pickup line of the day. Are you a haunted house? Are you a haunted house? Because I'm going to scream when I'm in ya. Anyway, on that note, talk about screaming when you're in the house and getting out of the house. Please wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands every time you leave your abode. And if you have roommates, if you're, living with anyone, it doesn't matter, still wear a mask, especially if they're coming in and out and you don't really know where to, especially if they're drinking and going to even a party of like 5. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, use sanitizers. But washing your hands is a lot less drying than hand sanitizer. Trust me, even the gel. Yeah. So, what is this? Oh, hello, Kaya Walker. Oh, hello. Ooh, we'll know who that Kaya Walker is. Anyway, now I'd like to bring to you my guest tonight. She is have become one of my very, very good friends. We haven't known each other for, we know each other for, I would say less than 5 years, but we have gotten really, really close. I think our personalities mesh. Yes. Mesh together. So, and what is this? I got to show you first. And this is her. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. I wish I have like a stage manager doing this. My very good friend, Soprano Alexandra Lobianco. Say hi to us. Wait a second. On doing it. There she is. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Say hi to everyone while I finish this little piece, and then I'm going to the last big piece again.
I understand. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kaya. I love you, sweet pea. Kaya is one of my nieces, and she is up late, and she's the best. She is my mini-me. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, for those who want to know about more about Lexi, as we call her, Lexi.
Yes.
Isn't that funny that there's our name. Wait, our name is there it is. Every time I click that, our name. So Lexi Lobianco, she goes by Lexi.
Yeah.
And if you look down there, you'll see follow Lexi on IG, Instagram at Lobianco Soprano, and
Okay.
her Facebook page is facebook.com/Lobianco Soprano. Oh, easy enough, right?
Shocking. Shocking.
So I wanna do this. There you go. There's a reason why I'm doing this format, because there it is. So tell us very briefly
I love this
how
moment.
you met Roro.
How I met Roro and his hair. That is no longer.
That's no longer there.
It's no longer there. But the higher the hair, the higher the I don't know. We'll keep that for for another time. How I met Roro. Actually, it was just over 5 years ago in 2015 when
Mm.
I came to cover Tosca here at Lyric. It was my first job, and you were singing Spoletta. And because you're the badass of all badasses when it comes to that role, um, and we were having a grand time, and you were truly one of the first people who like introduced themselves to me and said, "Hi, I'm Roro. I talk to everyone. You're my friend." And I was like, "Okay."
That's amazing. Yep. I mean, that's what I do.
You
That's what
do.
I do.
You do.
And so that's how we met. See how easy that is. Now, now tell us the scoop about you growing up, memorable moments with family during special occasions and holidays. Everything like everything you think is like so cool about what is it growing up, Lobianco.
Well, technically, growing up, I was Walker. That's why.
Ah,
Ah, Lobianco.
Walker.
Lobianco is actually a family name. It's my mom's maiden name. It comes from her side of the family. And what happened was, well, growing up basically as a Walker slash Lobianco, I grew up in a family who really loved music, and but we were a family of big Italian mixed mutt family who had French Canadian roots as well as other things. A lot of North Carolina influence in our family because of my dad's side. But I have two siblings, an older brother and an older sister. We're all three adopted, actually. And
Wow.
yeah, and so I'm the youngest of the three and adopted into my family at 3 days old. And I
Very
got
Umbrella Academy, huh? All right, go.
don't tell my superhero secrets.
Exactly.
My superhero secrets. Come on. No, I have really incredible families. My dad's a judge, a retired judge now. My mom's a retired attorney, and I was very blessed with a family that loved arts and loved lots of different things, and gave me an opportunity to explore and grow. And I got to travel when I was a kid. One of the coolest things I did as a child that my mother was like, "We're just going to take the kids with us," was I got to go to the USSR when it was still Moscow and Leningrad before it turned back into St. Petersburg. So it was like 86-ish.
Mm.
Yeah, so I got to go behind the Iron Curtain, which was really cool. And even as a young kid, it made a huge impact on me. Um, and then some of our favorite things are for holidays and memorable moments is Christmas Eve at my parents' house.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Christmas Eve is always awesome. I mean, Christmas time, yeah.
Christmas Eve it started with my grandparents, and my grandparents would have like the family and their neighbors, and everybody would come over to their house on Christmas Eve, and became this thing. And then eventually, my mother said, "Mom, you're doing too much. Let me take it over." This is when my grandmother was in her 60s. We won't say what age my mother is still doing this at. We'll just say it's not in her 60s, and she is still every Christmas Eve doing the spread. And by the spread, I mean it is a
I'm all about the spread, okay? See, I'm lighting
oh,
up. I'm lighting up. I heard the spread and I'm lighting up. Continue.
it's like the full Italian meal with the Italian pasta, the sausage and peppers, a big salmon. There's so many different like just lots of food. But when everyone actually comes to, yes, Kaya, I agree. Everyone loves the Christmas Eve party. But what everyone actually comes for is the dessert table. And when you walk in, if people who know go directly to the dining room and just circle the dessert table like hawks to see when it's going to be cut and when everything will be removed. They start snitching cookies through the whole thing. But my mother's my mom makes everything from scratch, so
Wow.
it's like a massive peppermint cake that I know Kaya and her sisters. She's one of triplets. She's one of 3 girls who are 15 right
Whoa.
now. Yeah.
That's a big family.
Yes.
I mean, it is an Italian family, right?
Hello. But there's a peppermint cake. There's my mom's caramel cheesecake where she makes the caramels from scratch. There's usually like a lemon something. There's a spice cake. There's always like 5 different types of cookies. It's insane. And there's a reason I look the way I do. There's a reason I'm a traumatic soprano.
Traumatic.
Yeah.
Now, so for those who want to get to know you more, or people know I'm an opera singer, and then but they don't. Some of them don't know the singers and the friends I sing with. They'll only see me in karaoke. Now, tell us about the first time you heard about opera, or you heard opera, because I have my own story,
Yeah.
and I want to know exactly what that trigger for you.
A couple different triggers. The first trigger for opera, I mean, my parents, again, like I said, they always took us to the symphony. They always took us to different events. And I remember always being immersed in culture from a young age. Like my favorite thing about my mom and I was on Saturday mornings, usually we'd be cooking something or getting ready for the weekend or whatnot. And she would turn on NPR. And my first music history classes were listening to NPR Saturday mornings with my mom doing stuff in the kitchen. She'd say, which composer do you think this is? Oh, what time period is it from? And she would just go through and just ask me questions about all these different things. And I just kind of ingested this knowledge over the years. And so when I got to music history, I was like, oh, that's this period. That's that period. Why am I taking this test? Because
True.
and I reasons I barely passed out of college. But anyway, I digress. But that was my first introduction to classical music. And then they took me to the opera, but I started playing clarinet in 5th grade, and I really took to it. I took to playing the clarinet. I took to that as like the thing I wanted to do, because I found something I was good at. And so my parents on another trip decided to take me to the Met. And being the extraordinarily generous human beings that they are, bought front row tickets, house left. I will never forget this, house left the Met, so I could look into the pit and see the orchestra. More than they weren't really worried about me being able to see the stage. They wanted me to be able to see in the pit and see what that looked like, because I wanted to be an orchestral clarinetist. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream.
Yeah.
But during that time period, yes, that was super cool. But all of a sudden I was like, what the hell are they doing up there? What?
And how old were you again?
I was probably 13, 14.
Wow, very impressive. Like that's where, like, ding ding ding, like exactly what my hat is doing right now. It's like, what is that? Will you change that? There you go. And then ding, it stopped. You're like,
it really was. And it was Cavallari and Pagliacci. So the fact that I get to sing stuff like Sanzuzza now makes me so happy to go back to my childhood and that moment of this is what drew me to opera. And then the other big one was when I got my first job after college, and I was singing in the chorus at Opera Carolina, and I was driving 2 hours down to Charlotte and 2 hours back because I lived in Boone, North Carolina at the time. So I would drive down and back 2 hours for rehearsals, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. That's how committed I was to having my first chorus job.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there. I was doing Cold Sassy Tree. It was cold
wow,
Sassy.
That's very modern.
I know. It was my first job. And sitting out in the house, because my chorus colleagues were sitting in the back because they got used to it. But I was really excited to be in the room doing the thing. And I was sitting out there just looking at the principal. I was going, God, that's what I want to do. That's it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That. And I remember Jim Mina coming by and saying, "What did you say, Lexi?" Oh, Maestro, sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. This, I really want to do that. He's like, good, good, Lexi, good.
Good, good.
And this was the year I was supposed to go back and finally sing Aida with Opera Carolina.
That's not. Yep. Well,
Alas,
now
COVID.
that you're talking about like your first job and you're as a chorister, and then you got so interested in it. We are not going to talk about opera itself in your life and your favorite roles. I mean, you are dramatic as I've mentioned on my press release for
Yes.
this specific show tonight.
Yes.
That you're a dramatic soprano and. What are your favorite? What do you so for people who aren't so familiar with with at least opera or at least the roles because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
may have heard operas but they don't know what's the difference between dramatic and non-dramatic. So what do you consider what makes a role dramatic?
Mm-hmm.
Not just vocally, I know, but
Mm-hmm.
what makes a role dramatic and what are the roles that are really your favorite?
Totally. Um, to be a dramatic soprano, it's not just how big the voice is, it's how much color is in the voice. It's also the type of orchestra you sing over. And the orchestras that I sing over the best with happen to have heavy woodwinds, heavy brass, and heavy percussion generally. That's the support system that helps me the most feel like I can really sing into and out from that support system. So they're pretty bombastic generally, while at the same time it has so much to do with width and depth of color, not just point. There's steel to a lot of dramatic sopranos, but not every dramatic soprano has steel and that has that like nails on a chalkboard, which I that's not the reason you're a dramatic soprano.
Hmm.
Let's
No,
just make that
no, not
clear.
really. No, no, no. Because there are voices who are not dramatic who has steel, not
Yes,
not just the steel.
absolutely, absolutely. There's steel and usually cush. I remember one of my very first reviews for my first job, my first professional, what I consider the beginning of my career was Trovatore at Union Avenue Opera, um, and I was singing Leonora, and may she rest in peace because she just passed this week. But Sarah Bryan Miller was the reviewer, and she coined the phrase "velvet covered steel" for my voice.
Ooh.
Hmm. And so I will take that with me everywhere I go. She was extraordinarily kind to me in my career, and because I worked in St. Louis pretty often.
So just to let people know, this is my idea of when Lexi told us about how dramatic it is. It's like this, when people have steel in their voice, it's like when it's cold and you want those hand warmers.
Hmm.
That's the steel. Oh, the heat goes through. You know what dramatic is? When somebody wears this huge, thick fur, it's warm inside, but you're covering a lot more.
Wait,
That is
what? I'm
dramatic
shocked.
is. I'm just saying, it's like a thermal compared to a full-blown fur coat.
Yep.
Just saying, that's the difference.
I'm a parka. I'm my own parka. I am my
So
own parka.
that's awesome. Now that we've talked about the opera
Yeah.
itself, we're gonna show a couple of pictures here, and you tell us exactly what these are.
Yes.
This one right here. Tell us about this.
So this is actually one of my favorite photos. This was from Valkyrie at Union Avenue, and I was mid-30s singing this, and it was the Jonathan Dove reduction, but we did it in German, and it was really special because it was my first real big toe into the deep end of Wagner in a very safe way to kind of figure out, is this where my voice is going? Smaller house, but the reason I love this picture is because I forgot to take my glasses off right before coming out on stage. And while I look really tiny, I have like 4 corsets on. Let's be real.
That you look amazing in this. I mean, look at that. It's very Wonder Woman-y.
Yes, and I love this. This is probably one of my favorite costumes. Thank you, Teresa Doggett. It was amazing. But if you look very closely, because I had so many corsets on, I couldn't shove the glasses in my usual bracket spot, so they went in the middle.
Oh,
And
no.
by the time we finish the scene, half of my glasses are sticking out of my cleavage in that picture.
You know, these are, and like, you know what, these are the things, that that people don't know, that, oh my god, we're thinking, oh my god, they're gonna see it. They're never gonna see it. The only people who are gonna see it is us, and
Mhm.
maybe our co-star, but that's it. So this is another one.
Yep.
Tell us about what this is.
Oh, this is Don Anna and Don Giovanni. And this is God love Gary Wado for getting me through this. God love Maestro
So
Gary
where is
Wado.
this now?
This is at Seattle Opera. This was I covered Suor Angelica there a few years ago, but prior to this, it was like 2012, I want to say. And Aaron called me and said, "Hey, we had a cast change. Do you want to come sing Don Anna?" And I called my mentor and said, "Can I do this?" She said, "Sure." Birgit sang it. Okay. Okay, sure.
That's
Why not?
true. That's
That's kind of
true.
how I felt about it as well. Birgit sang it. Why can't I? Fine. So, so I went out there and I was double cast with the extraordinary, also may she rest in peace,
Oh,
Aaron Wall.
yes.
And it was Larry Brownlee and Aaron Wall. And they were the Otavio and Donana, and it was the Mezi Liz Caballero. And it was and Liz took over singing Elvira for both casts, and I got to work with Ashraf Suelam, who was my Leporello, and Mark Walters was my Don Giovanni, and it was in Randall Bales, obviously in this picture, and Jordan Bish, who's laying there, is my daddy. But it, you know, this was the moment where I figured out I can't undersing Mozart, but I can definitely sing Mozart.
You know, just to let you know, I mean, I love Mozart. I love one of my top five, believe it or not, top five favorite operas is Marriage of Figaro.
Yes.
However, it's a total opposite for Stephen, my husband Stephen, because
Yes.
he loves Don Giovanni, and Don Giovanni may be his favorite Mozart opera. I think he likes the characters, he likes the drama.
Yeah.
Comedy is good, but he likes the drama and the just the conniving things that are not
That's a
there.
dirty opera.
Exactly. It's like, oh, it's like Marriage of Figaro is conniving, but then there's humor. And the humor in Don Giovanni is always about it's patronizing Don Giovanni. Everything else around him is like he's the only one who thinks it's funny. You know, everyone around him is like, he's an a-hole.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So this one, next one, we're going to this one. So tell us about this one.
Hands down, this is my favorite role. This is Minnie in Fanciulla del West, the girl of the Golden West, and I think it is Puccini's most underrated and most brilliant opera. I really, really do. I I fell in love with this character um, in many ways because I am Minnie. I was a competitive horseback rider when I was younger. Um, I was raised to be a marksman, and I shoot guns, and I was a pro marksman for a bit. And I also I went camping and I was out in the woods a lot for summer camps and whatnot. And I actually shot like bows and arrows, and I did archery and whatnot. So in this particular production, I got really lucky because Michael Eagle, this is at Des Moines Metro Opera. Michael Eagle looked at me when I first arrived and he said, "I have a question for you." I said, "Okay. Would you mind riding a horse on stage?"
Wow.
I said, "Michael, I have a couple things that have to happen in order for that to happen. First, I need to be able to ride the horse a couple times before he ever gets to the stage because I need to get my seat back because I do know how to ride. And God forbid something happens, I want to be able to be in control." And so I finagled the ability to go horseback riding like every other week while I was at Des Moines that summer. It was amazing. It was the best summer.
So this really like this really like hit the spot for you. This role, this
Oh my
probably this
God, yes.
production.
Yes.
We have
And
very different you know you know taste in Puccini operas. I can tell
yeah.
you
Yeah.
that.
Well, and I got to work with the incredible John Burton, and that's when John and I first met. And John had already done Dick Johnson. Thanks, Puccini, for that. Per sempre.
That's like the most the most phrasing moment is Dick Johnson. Come on.
I
I
know.
mean, that's leading. Leading. Is this a leading role? It's a leading role.
It's a very. I mean, when you have to time the
My
super
God.
title to after you say the words per sempre Dick, which means always Dick.
Yes. Yep. It's like, oh
Otherwise,
my
you get a
God.
massive laugh from the audience.
I wish like Archer was there. It's like, Dick Johnson phrasing. It's very phrasing. Now
Very.
let's talk about. Oh wait. And then this is a picture of last night. My guest was Carl Reyes, and he did mention that he's been singing with Seattle Opera, so, for a very long time. And this is a picture of you guys, Carl. There you go,
Yes.
Carl and Lexi.
Yes. He's such a love. Oh, he's so talented. It's just an extraordinary group in Seattle. I am so lucky to have been able to sing with Seattle Opera. One covered once, sung two other times. Now three other times. Sorry, because I just sang. I went out there and sang Santuzza during COVID for them. This so it's they've been very good to me. And this Aida was really special because I got to work with John Fiore as a conductor and became he's one of my dearest friends in all the world now. And this was one of those moments where I got my confidence back as a musician and as an artist because I had a conductor who believed and trusted me.
So, by the way, a little disclaimer.
Yeah.
I thought Stephen already saw Don Giovanni. He's only heard certain sections of it, and he does prefer the music over Marriage of Figaro. So I thought he saw the production that was done here in Chicago. I hope they bring that back so that he could actually watch it again.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite productions was the one we did because they in Don Giovanni where he gets, it's not a spoiler, guys, where Don Giovanni is swallowed by hell,
Hell, yeah.
literally. Alive. Not to be blasphemous, it's like the total opposite of when the Blessed Virgin Mary went to heaven. It's like she went there without dying, and and Don Giovanni went to hell without dying. He just went there.
He just went.
He just went there, and then the way they made the swallowing of Don Giovanni phrasing. I mean, he did get swallowed, by the earth. So I'm just saying. So let's see. It's like we just got this, like, and there you go. See, there's like many different. It's weird because of the lighting thing. There you go. There you go. See, it's
I do love them.
So now see the last picture we showed was the Seattle one with Aida.
Yeah.
Now we will now show you a clip from that show with who is tell us about, first of all, who is the bass.
The Amanasro was Alfred Walker, and Alfred who he just took such good care of me and was such a wonderful father. And the other Amanasro was Gordon Hawkins. And so that was really fun. And the other Aida was Leah Cochetto. And it was really a special time.
So tell us about exactly in this very it's like a little less than a minute and a half, less than 90-second clip of what is going on. What are you guys talking about? Somebody didn't pay their dues. What's going on?
Basically, Daddy is like, look, you need to do this for me and for your country. You need to betray the love of your life and get him to betray his country so that we can win. So it's either do this for your country or and all your people, or do this for love. Which is it going to be? Is it going to be for me and your country, or are you going to follow this little punk Radames? And she and Aida, of course, knows her duty, and she knows that it's no matter how much she loves Orarame, she has to protect her country because that comes first. That's her duty.
Countries first. I mean, that's
Country.
always good. And
Yep.
here we go. Alexandra, Lexi, and Alfred. Yes, girl, that deserves an amazing.
It's actually my favorite phrase.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite phrases to sing in the whole entire opera. It really is. It's such a powerful moment of recognition that no matter what I do, my love for my country will always cost me the love of my life.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's very yeah. That'll get you.
Right.
You know, download those Tinder now, okay? So that's
Oh,
the most you can deal with. Oh, look at that. Kaya's like, clap, 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 clap. Thanks, Kaya.
thanks, Kai. Love you,
Now,
Fifi.
not only is Lexi into opera, but she loves theater and musical theater. So tell us about your history with that and your experience with that.
I got really lucky. From the first musical theater experience I had was on that trip to Russia. Actually, we stopped in London on the way to Russia to get kind of acclimated to the time zones and whatnot. And there was,
Mhm.
some new shows in the West End that happened to be coming out. You know,
Mhm.
Phantom of the Opera, Cats, Les Miserables, all in the same weekend in London at the West End. I didn't understand what theater makeup was at the time, and so when I had opera glasses and I was like so intent on what was going on with the Phantom of the Opera. So I have a love hate relationship with Phantom. I admit it, but
I love
for
Phantom. Phantom is my favorite musical theater
it's
Broadway
great.
show.
It's
Number one
really great.
still.
It's really great. So I'm watching intently with opera glasses, and they yank the Phantom's mask off, and I'm like,
Oh my
I
god.
lost my mind. For the next, when we got back, I was like, oh my god, the Phantom's gonna get me. It's like I would think the Phantom was coming out of the toilet to get me because I was so young and innocent. Just, but I fell in love, and I should have known when during Cats, and we were in the front row for Cats. When the cats are like right in front of me, and I'm looking through the chicken wire, and I was like, oh hey, there's like a monitor with a guy waving his hands, and I was more interested in the guy waving his hands than I was at the cats on stage. I should have known then that
Yeah.
something was meant to be with me with stage and following a conductor, because I was like, oh, those are the patterns. Oh, that's a, oh, okay, that's so I would memorize patterns watching Cats in London instead of watching the Cats. I watched the conductor.
Yeah, you're a total music geek. It's amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
Yep.
Now tell us about any embarrassing moments while performing. either yours or a colleague's that you're allowed to share? Tell us about that.
Okay, can I tell three?
Huh?
I'll tell three. So the first
Okay.
one, the short one, two are actually have to do with Fanchula. I there was fake snow, and we're in this intimate moment, and I'm in John Burton's arms, and we're singing the love duet and blah blah blah, and I inhale and I feel a piece of fake snow go all the way down, hit my throat, and I go back in his head. And poor thing has got like my fake
God.
snow back on his head, and he's just looking at me like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" I'm like, I kept singing, and it was fine, but
Oh,
fake snow. Who knew? The other one was during Fanchula. There was one night, the horse hadn't been run that day, and so he was very excited. He was ready to go. John had just finished singing "Que la mi carrera," which is the big tenor aria that everyone knows, and "Que la mi carrera," gorgeous. And it's the quietest moment of the whole opera. And I picked up my reins early because I was sitting in saddle, getting ready to go out. And I picked up my reins early, just kind of check them and make sure everything was okay.
yeah.
And Romeo, who was the horse, went, "It's time," reared, and started to take
Oh
off.
no.
Oh yeah.
So you got scared?
No, I didn't get scared. I went, "Oh crap! I can't let him go on
So
stage."
let's go, Black Beauty.
So, for those who don't understand, Des Moines' backstage area is quite tiny. This is not the Met wings. We're talking about a small collegiate space of a wing
Yes.
space. And so I'm dealing with flats that are here, and I know I've gone past some of the, so people have heard me and go, and I'm yanking his nose to his butt in a small space, trying to turn
Oh
him
my
around, get
God.
him resettled, got him resettled down, and we
That
settled
is,
down.
I would be so scared. I
It
would
was
be really,
insane.
and and especially if it's like, are there other people on stage when that happened? What's going
Yeah,
on? Or like, oh
yeah,
my God.
and
So what is
and
this?
yeah, and then I had music staff in the background, and I had all. I mean, everyone was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine."
So what about your embarrassing moment number 3? What is that? What that did that entail?
Freshman year of high school, we did. So I went to a small little private Christian school through middle school and high school, but this little Christian school had a really great arts program
Uh-huh.
to the point where we would build our stages every year. One year we had a double rotating stage for Annie.
Okay. Double? I mean,
Double. Two.
that's a huge stage.
Two small rotations on either side. It was insane. Yeah. And really cool. My freshman year, our marching band dressed up in full regalia from the Kenneth Branagh Henry V production. We were dressed and played Henry V. That we played that score on the field. That's what we
Yeah.
did. We had a whole sword fight on the field. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about with
Mm-hmm.
my high school. And so we did Hello Dolly my
Hello,
freshman year.
Dolly.
Hello. And
Mm-hmm.
we built a set that had a regular proceeding, but then had built a walkway around to create an actual pit, which was unusual for us. So this walkway was just barely wide enough for two people to cross. So we're in the midst of "Put on your Sunday clothes when you feel down and out," and we have a
Yeah.
cross on the front. We have puffy shoulders. We have
Huge
parasols.
costumes. Yes.
Yes. And we have parasols, and we're doing the thing and going across, and I'm just in the chorus. And I
Like big
stepped.
dresses, huge choreographies,
Yes,
everything.
yes, all the things. So I get to about center stage because if I'm going to make an ass of myself, I'm going to make an ass of myself well. So I stepped on top of the toe board accidentally, and
Oh
my foot
no.
my foot slipped, and so
Uh-huh.
my whole balance went, and I went right into the front row.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
My
And
question is, were the chairs empty? That would have hurt more.
no, no.
You know what? You had cushion.
I
You had people as cushion.
I did, and it was my friend's parents.
Oh my
It was my
God.
friend's parents, and everyone still says, "So were you falling off stages? Do you wear glasses? Can you see it?" I'm like,
Oh no. It's like, just, you know what? Just
"Yeah,
roll with it.
I
Pun
will never,
intended.
I will." But it was actually the eve of my birthday. It was the
Yeah.
final show.
Mhm.
I fell down. I went. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, literally going, huh, boom, and then I popped back up, found my nearest exit, exited, came back around, discovered I had a gash in my leg about 2 inches long.
Yeah.
And I
Oof.
something happened in my foot that I didn't know, but I was like, they're like, you need to go to get stitches. Like, no, 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 just butterfly me up. I'm fine. So I got butterfly stitches. I got butterfly bandages on my leg, which I still have the
Oh, at
scar.
least that's cute.
And I got back out on stage for the end of the show. What I didn't know that night is that I had actually broken my big toe as well. So I broke my big
You didn't
toe.
even feel it.
No,
It's like
nope,
frostbite almost. Like, yeah,
completely.
just hit it.
But what made it even better was that it was closing night. So we had, of course, the cast party afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was videoed. So what did we do on the eve of my birthday
Oh
at the
no,
cast?
you showed them?
Oh, it was shown in fast forward, slow motion, all the
Oh my
things
God. So it's
over
like
and
America's
over. And
Funniest Videos moment.
happy freshman year of high
I
school.
know. It's like, oh, why? It's like, oh, yeah. It's like Wipeout. You know that show? Pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. Wipeout.
Completely.
Oh my
Oh,
God, you totally wiped out.
I
Yeah, that was
did.
a wipeout moment. Okay. So now he's like that. Those are awesome. It's like, see if you guys notice, like she's, Lexi is not a stranger to not just opera, but to theater. She has done it all. Now let's talk about Valhalla Media,
Yeah.
where you are the co-founder and co-owner of Valhalla Media.
Yeah.
Uh, as described, Valhalla Media is Chicago's premier mobile audio recording, videography, and live streaming media solutions company for classical musicians.
Yeah.
And so while Lexi is talking about that, I put down there at least where to follow Valhalla Media. There are two
Thank you.
websites that you can follow on, and they're also on Instagram at Watch Music Live. So
Yep.
tell us about Valhalla Media.
So Valhalla Media was kind of something that had been happening for well over a year prior to COVID hitting. Nick, my wonderful partner and one of the bases for Lyric Opera Chicago, he he also is a web designer, and he's a very good web designer. But when we moved out to the suburbs, he was unable to spend as much time doing the web design work, and so he was spending a lot of time at the computer and really wanted to be able to focus on our family a bit more. And so we had already been shifting from his web design work into doing a recording company last year. We had started making this transition, and literally right as COVID was hitting and the ring cycle was canceled, um, we were about to launch the whole recording company, because what we wanted, we noticed that there was a lack of live streaming for recitals, and
Yeah,
there's so many great schools here. Why not be a live streaming opportunity for recitals for college students, and just provide something a little so that their families can see it and whatnot. That was this was supposed to be. And then COVID hit, and we were like, well, crap, what do we do? How can we change? And so we were throwing spaghetti against the wall, going, how can we put our friends back to work? How can we utilize what we have? We already had a lot of equipment, and how can we help our friends get back to work? And so we shifted into this live model, and we've invested a lot of our own money into
yeah,
creating a platform where people can come to us and say, hey, we have this event that we recorded, or that we can record for you, or whatever. We have multiple tiers of options that, but ultimately it was here's a place where we can like monetize, and here's this, it's secure. It's not Eventbrite. Sorry, Eventbrite, you're a great service for a lot of people, but you're not fully secure. This is fully
exactly.
this is fully secure. This, we know that you're going to get the right type of
I think
care.
for those listening, I think one of the descriptions about Valhalla is it is a company specializing in the classical music world that provides a platform for artists and producing organizations to securely, That's very important. Securely monetize their virtual productions, which is very, very helpful, especially in these times of the pandemic. So that's great. I mean, I'm really glad that you guys are able to do that. I've seen a few shows that were advertised, and one of the things actually that's part of Valhalla Media now is what I'm going to mention is something that Lexi hosts regularly, which is Coffee and Catch Up. Tell us about Coffee and Catch
Yes.
Up, and how do you know? Who do you get to pick? What's the criteria for picking a guest? Like, I have already been there.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So I honestly, I was thinking part of the reason we picked the name Valhalla was because in order to reach Valhalla, you have to cross the Rainbow Bridge. And it is what we wanted it to be was about inclusion. We wanted it to be about a very vast and inclusive environment where people can transcend and become greater than the sum of their parts ultimately, which
Yes.
was really important to Nick and I. And with that, this idea for Coffee and the Catch Up was there's been so much incredible conversation about really deep and important conversations happening with like Karen Slack and the Dallas Opera Network and so many other people have been doing great, incredible work like Austin Opera with Annie Burridge and Francesca Miliotto and Lauren Meeker at at San Antonio. They've all been having these incredible conversations, really deep and insightful. And I love those, but sometimes I just need to laugh. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just kind of want to get to know people.
Yeah.
And with COVID the way it has been, I wanted to give a voice to those of us who were kind of in the middle someplace, not
Yeah.
just those at the top, not just at the
Yeah,
bottom.
it's like with all due respect, I'm just mentioning it because it's just the reality. Like most opera companies would go, like Lyric or the Met or LA Opera or Houston Grand Opera. They would ask singers like me and other people, even you, like, oh, why not sing a recital? However, when it comes to a talk show kind
Right.
of setting,
Right.
they would only ask people like, I love my colleagues like, Larry Brownlee, Renee
Yep.
Fleming. There are the other people as well. I know there's other people, but
Right.
those are the two that comes to mind. And because of their reputation, because of their fame, and I'm thinking, and we're in the pandemic, and we're local, and certain people are local. It's like, so doing this is a good thing. It is a good thing, and it has positive effects because seeing seeing Larry do his stuff, and then seeing you do your stuff, and then seeing Karen Slack also do her stuff, with interviews. I'm like, you know what? Which gave me another idea. You know what? I've noticed that all of these interviews happen during the day or early evening. And I'm thinking, I'm going to do it at night. I may only have consistently one viewer. Thank you, honey.
We have 5 right now. Thank you very much.
Earlier, I think we got to 11 at some point. No, for me, if I hit like double digits, it's like if it go to 11, it's like good. Even if it goes down, but that's the whole point about it is there will always be someone. I always say there will always be someone who just wants something playing in the background, and it's like osmosis. So I'm glad that you're doing this, and it is funny. It's like you guys should check her out. Like, see it's also it's under Valhalla Media Live. So subscribe, or you could subscribe, or you could follow them on Instagram. You'll know exactly what the schedules are, and you'll know it's a variety of guests. Like a good. It's very diverse. So definitely follow them now.
We're actually going to have another person this week. We're going to have Adam Lau with us this week.
Oh, nice! I thought I was going to be the only Asian that you're going to have.
No.
No. So talk about this now. This very briefly.
Oh,
so
hey.
She and I did not know that she played PokemonGo. We both started in 2016, but the frequency of how we played differed. Differed. That's that right?
Yeah.
That's the right term.
Totally.
Different because I love the idea of being able to play. I love playing video games growing up. However, being mobile and always walking, always traveling, it's so this format is so nice. It is
Yeah.
virtual.
Yeah.
Yes, you are catching Pokemons, but it doesn't really matter
Doesn't
because they're
matter.
not real. It's just the feeling of like, oh, I'm playing a video game, and both of us play this, and both of us are. There are three teams, and both of us are in the same
Yes,
team,
we are.
which is
Very much so.
blue.
Yes.
Go blue.
Go blue.
So,
Yeah.
how how do you think the game is? Like for me, at some point, it has been distracting. Even even before pandemic. I mean, I love playing this game, but at some point, because of the pandemic, it has actually been less entertaining for me because of the certain features that happen. So how often do you play it? So for, just in general, how often do you play it, and what do you think of the game? Do you see yourself just, continuously playing it at your own pace?
I mean, it's a really nice thing, especially because I teach multiple hours a day. It's actually something I use to kind of get my brain away from teaching. It's
Little
actually
break. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a brain break for me. It's just kind of like, okay, I can just like zone out. Oh look, there's a Pokemon. Let me catch it. Oh look, oh, there's a raid. Let me join them.
It's a very good ADD moment. It's
Yes,
amazing.
it's really Kaya, yellow is better. No, you are wrong, child. You are
This
wrong,
yellow
child.
is better. That's why I'm hosting this show. What? So,
um, but no,
yeah.
it's a lot of it's a nice passive thing, especially when I've been on the road, like when I'm in airports and I'm just sitting in the airport by myself, usually drinking a Bloody Mary, waiting in the lounge to get on a flight.
Oh my God. It really passes the time. I
Yeah, it
have,
does.
okay, the cool thing about, let me tell you the diversity of people who play Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is, we're talking about everyone in the walks of life. I
Yeah,
remember traveling, and I have met in the past, when I have to socialize, I have to go to a bar during karaoke and then meet people there. Because of Pokemon Go, I don't have to go out as much. I can meet up with there are they're called platforms. They're called Discord. There's like a big gaming community where
yeah.
people could log, a platform or app where people could log in, interact with other people who play any kind of game. And then they have their own groups and servers where they could log into and meet up. And these are safe because meet up, especially during the day. Oh, let's meet up at a coffee shop and then exchange information. And the cool thing about this game is it is a break from not just what we do, but
Yes.
the people we work with. It's like, oh my God, I need a break from all of these, like, opera singers. You go to the park and everyone's playing the game, and then you talk to them.
Yes. Oh my god, it's I mean, it's such a nice relief. And especially like if I'm usually the one on the passenger side. Nick is usually driving, so I'm usually like I usually open the app and I play while we're talking and driving, because that's I mean it's a nice way to pass the time. It's easy. I can focus on his conversation while I'm going. Oh look, I'll just grab that one. Look, and it's a very passive thing for me. It's never really been like I have to do the Pokemon do thing.
Unlike me, at some point, yes, I know
Right,
exactly.
right. But and that's probably why I'm only at level 37 as opposed to like 41, like you.
That's true. I'm like level 41 right now, almost getting to level 42. It's like, but for the longest time, since what is that? Since 2017,
Yeah.
we have waited 3 years, almost 4 years, for that feature to happen. And the last part of our interview here in our show is a little bit of a what is that? When you contemplation on what's going
Mm.
on. Work in Europe have has lightly resumed, but not here in the U.S. We do have, just to let you know, for people who are listening, we have the colleagues who have work, who actually had contracts in Europe, and not, of course, not every single place in Europe has opened up. However, there's a
Mm.
lot more places to work there than here.
Yeah.
Here, it's mostly virtual, maybe one or two that I would actually do live, but
Yeah.
their theaters are actually open.
Open.
So how do what's your take on, for me, like, I told you earlier, I feel like I'm so happy for you, but I feel like there's a feeling of unfairness, but then you can't really blame anyone. So how do you feel about this whole thing? You tell me. Like,
Who?
some people are going back to work and we're not.
I mean, I have such mixed feelings about all of this on so many levels. Seeing our colleagues get to go back to work in Europe is a very good and hopeful thing for most of us. Quite honestly, I think it is hopeful. It is, but they are under different governmental restrictions, and
Yeah.
they're but their whole country is at a different age than ours is. So
That's true.
they're the whole country in Europe, their evolution, they have gone through their rise and fall of the Roman Empire. They've gone through these rise and falls of Hitler and dealing with all of that in their own country. I mean, Hitler was there as opposed to the United States. We didn't have to deal with
Mhm.
Hitler in the US. We had to deal
Yes,
with Hitler in Europe.
exactly, exactly.
Um, so there is this feeling of, I think their history and their ability to recognize what is for the greater good is more developed than the United States.
Yeah.
And in the United States, I feel like the artistic community is working very hard towards creating a safe and healthy working environment for us. Whether it is virtual, whether it is building, like Lyric right now built those incredible plexiglass
I saw
container,
those pictures. Yes,
yeah,
about. I
containers
mean,
for
these are. Yeah, they are separate. It kind of looks like, I know it's different, but it looks like one of those sci-fi moments where it's like, oh my God, they're doing experiments and they're locked in this cages, but
yes,
they're a lot bigger cages. But the cool thing
yes,
about it is, there's airflow that's
mm-hmm.
like above them, but
Yep,
it's pretty much they're surrounded. And the cool thing is they're all in separate pods in a way,
right, right,
but then clear glass and everything. But then they're also these pods are also separated really
yes,
well. And when
yes,
we saw the pictures, you saw those pictures that during
yeah,
rehearsal, it was like, well, this is very hopeful. You know,
yes.
don't know if you can have like 20 people built for that, but at least we know it's like, okay, we're progressing.
Right. There's progress, and there are strides being made to find safe and healthy ways. Like this next week, I'm actually going into rehearsal virtually for Puppy episode with COT. I'm workshopping the Matthew Rachos opera that we're going to do in the spring. That'll be sent out through Valhalla actually, but it is. But because of the newest restrictions in Chicago, we're now doing everything virtually this next week. And so I have done both in person and now virtual events, and I feel extremely lucky to be part of the smallish group of people that are actually working right now. I feel very blessed and very lucky, um, to be able to say to my students, there is hope and there is work out there. It's just going to come in drips and drabs right now, and it's going. And I think I was just talking about this with last night with Carol Anderson from Utah, and from Santa Fe. We were talking to her last night and saying that that this virtual world is going to be its own genre. I really believe that. I really believe this is going to be its own genre of opera that may be an access point for the
Yeah.
non-usual theater goer who thinks opera is snobby, or for a
I think
particular.
it is changing in the past
It
few years.
is.
Like, it's like we're getting audience members, and I think it's, as much as it can be debated how it's represented
Hmm.
in, in popular culture, like on TV, the fact that the idea is being presented
Yes.
is a good step.
Yes.
They still need work on which people to actually represent our
Right.
craft, but
Right.
at least people in the back of their mind, they're talking about it now. now that it's like it is now 2 a.m. here. Before we go, so you can say goodbye to our listeners and
Oh,
to our audience. I want to ask you, it's like, what is your message to singers, like during this pandemic? To singers and patrons, what can they can look forward to or should look forward to?
I mean, that's a big question.
I know.
On the spot. Thanks, RoRo.
We did not rehearse this part.
Oh, it's fine. No, we didn't rehearse any of this. But my message for young singers is to take a breath. Remember that they're enough where they are in the process, and if they follow their own path, it will lead them to the right career. Not the career that they think they should have, but the right one. And there's a difference. And to our patrons, I would ask them to please continue to be as incredibly supportive as they have always been, because we are working our tails off to find any way of providing new content and new opportunities for art to be made in this environment. And if they can make the leap with us into this new world, I think we will find a very satisfying new iteration of opera. Will it ever take the place of being in the theater? Absolutely not. There is nothing that can replace the sound of the human voice filling a whole hall. Nothing in my imagination. It's such a special, unique event, especially an unamplified voice filling these beautiful, massive halls that we have in the United States, and to have it envelop you, not cut you, envelop you in the warmth, in the care, in the humanity of who each of us are on stage. I said this to one of my students earlier today. I said, our job is not to make you feel what we're feeling. Our job is to provide like a bridge from what your
Yes.
seat to what we're doing, so for you can find whatever bridge you need to cross to feel whatever you need to feel at a moment's notice. And if you're ready to feel this moment and feel this or feel the same thing we're feeling, amazing. But if you're not, you're still welcome in whatever way you can join us. But our
Yeah.
job is not to make you feel what we're feeling. And
And then
that's
what
really
do you
special.
have? And what do you have to at least what can you tell our patrons or our followers to because they've been like itching to go out there. They're doing their best to stay
Mhm.
home, but they really want to do something to like to watch something. They couldn't even go watch in the movie theater, even though they're probably the only two people there. But what can what message do you want to tell our patrons so at least they know they shouldn't give up? You know what I mean?
They absolutely that. There is so much available right now, and I would tell them to take the risk and take the plunge to buy the $20 ticket to the Met is wonderful. What they're doing is incredible, but there are so many other smaller companies that are trying to be innovative and create this new thing. Go watch Vic and Sport from Houston Grand Opera, which I don't think it's available anymore, but rats. But other companies, Long Beach Opera or Seattle Opera or San Antonio or COT. COT, of course, because of my connection with Valhalla, they have their whole season is online. It's really going to be a beautiful virtual season. It's going to be very creative. I would say take the risk, take the plunge, and go with us on the journey. We're doing the best we can.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you for being here tonight. Again, that's Alexandra Lobianco, also known as Lexi.
Lexi.
Lexi. Hey. Thank you again. And I hope you tomorrow, our guest will be one of our very, very close friends. I mean, really, really, we're like the three of us are tight. Is mezzo soprano. We go from a dramatic soprano to actually I guess she's a, I mean,
She's a
she's a
real.
she's a mezzo soprano, but I think she's dramatic. I mean, she's got a very dramatic voice as well. And I don't
We
know
both
exactly what her fach is. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
we both might be a little traumatic.
Traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
we'll have her tomorrow. So thank you again. Thank you again. I'll put you in the back burner so I can say
All
goodbye
right.
after we end the broadcast. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone who has stayed with us for this whole hour. To at Ram at RoRo After Midnight. Again, you can follow me on Facebook, RoRo the Tenor, and on YouTube, Filipino Tenor. And it's every night, 11 p.m. Pacific, but 1 a.m. Central and 2 a.m. Eastern. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Venmo me. Wouldn't hurt, at RoRo the Tenor. And as usual, I say my goodbye to everyone. Hello and goodbye. Goodbye.